About 3 years ago when I was 9, I spent 5 months living in Costa Rica with my family for a sabbatical. When I got there, I immediately fell in love with all the animals and wildlife. You almost couldn't go a day without running into a howler monkey, a spider monkey, a koala, and so on. There are all different kinds of exotic, interesting, and endangered animals there. But wait, why were these animals endangered? What happened to them to become endangered? Certainly it wasn't natural. Well, what I later found out was that Costa Rica's main issue with animals was that coffee farms contributed to deforestation. In the process of cutting down trees, coffee farms have been cutting down the habitat for a variety of native birds and other animals. Coffee is a huge economic industry for its region, however the environmental impact is taking its toll. Think about this. Americans and only Americans consume about 400 million cups of coffee per day. The next time you drink your coffee, I want you to think about how that coffee is harming the environment. How that cup of coffee is 1 in 400 million consumed in one day. I want you to think about the animal extinction problem and how you are contributing to animals across the globe becoming extinct. Humans, animals among others, are the reason why there are so many endangered and extinct species. Earth has lost 52% of all its wildlife in the past 40 years. It is our fault animals are getting poached. It is our fault we are taking away animals' habitats for our own greed. We are cutting down about 42 million trees a day. Animals need those places to live in. How would we react if animals came up to our houses, destroyed them, and took all of our possessions? But not for just one person, for 42 million people. We are so careless and uninformed. If we are too selfish to save the animals, then we have to realize that for us to survive, we need to protect them. Think about this. When an animal species becomes endangered, it shows us that our ecosystem is slowly falling apart. Each lost animal species triggers the losses of other kinds of animal species within its ecosystem. Humans depend on a strong ecosystem to clean our environment. If this keeps happening and we allow our environment to become more and more contaminated, we are risking our own health. Some people don't think about animals as they do about humans, but I want to ask them why. Humans are animals, but for some reason our life is much more valuable than theirs. To me, that doesn't make any sense. If it weren't for animals, our world would not be livable. We wouldn't be able to survive here. Deforestation is not only harming the animals, but increasing the effects of climate change. Poaching is separate, but also contributes to animal extinction and endangerment. Animals are facing more and more obstacles to survival because of climate change. There are more frequent intensive droughts, storms, heat waves, rising sea levels, melting glaciers, and warming oceans that directly harm animals and destroy the places they live. If climate change continues and we humans continue on our destructive path, many animals will be on the verge of extinction. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change predicts that 1 in 3 species will die out if global warming continues. Animals such as polar bears and penguins are losing their slowly disappearing habitat. 11 out of the 16 non-penguins are at risk of extinction. Emperor penguins and polar bears rely on sea ice to survive, but sea ice is disappearing, which leads to animals drowning trying to make it to sea ice. Shrinking glaciers have decreased the flow of rivers, which is causing problems for the salmon. Salmon are facing difficult journeys due to this decrease in stream flows. Also, the average water temperature for salmon is 55 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit, but with recent temperatures reaching more than 71 degrees Fahrenheit, there have been many fish deaths. Some animals are impacted directly by the warming of the planet, while others by deforestation, which is a feedback loop that not only destroys habitats, but also is responsible for building up carbon in the atmosphere, which leads to global warming. Climate change has already impacted ecosystems and threatened thousands of species. As it advances, it will bring even more chaos and loss of biodiversity around the world. There are now 41,415 species on the IUCN Red List, and 16,306 of them are endangered species threatened with extinction. We have made a mistake, and it's our responsibility to correct our mistake. We have cut down 50% of all the trees in the last 100 years. Why? For money. Terry Swearingen once said, "We're living on this planet as if we have another one to go to." We are, and that's what's happening. But the thing is, we don't have another planet to go to. If we don't stop and take action and do something about this soon, not only the animals' lives will be endangered, but ours will too.